Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. They made the national semifinals in 2022 and are currently ranked third in the country. It's a formidable task, even at home. Coach Bradley, Coach Paterno, what do we expect to see from Michigan as the Nittany Lions attempt to knock off the Wolverines at Beaver Stadium?
A lot of good players and a lot of good places. And you know what? Everybody's wanted to talk about this game for 3 weeks. So now we can. So let's get into it. Let's talk specifically about Michigan. And let's start with the offense. I think this might be the most complete. This is the most complete offense Penn State will play all year because they have an experienced quarterback. They've got tight ends that can hurt you. They got wideouts that can hurt you. They got running backs that can hurt you. And Tom, they got an offensive line.
That's the key right there. They got a very, very solid offensive line with a lot of guys that played last year also.
Yeah, and +9 in turnover margin. Talking about that offensive line, some big dudes. 3 guys that started against Penn State last year on an offense that ran for 418 yards. You go from the offensive line to the skill guys we talked about. You're looking at quarterback J.J. McCarthy. You're looking at the running back Blake Corum, and you're looking at Roman Wilson leads the country, or fourth in the country in 10 receiving TDs. Corum leads the country with 16 rushing TDs. How do they get it done? Well, let's talk about the offensive line right there. They're big, but they are mobile. They pull and kick out, Tom, creating gaps, and then they hustle downfield, Tom.
Well, that's one of the things we pointed out here. You got linemen down, tackles downfield blocking. These guys are athletic, and that's the key.
And watch downfield. Here comes the running back. There's number 52 rumbling downfield. Make another block for Corum downfield, and that's the kind of effort that makes them unique. Now let's talk about some other things you got to do. You got to contain the quarterback. Tom, stay in your passing lanes. Don't let this guy out.
Lanes just aren't for cars this week.
Absolutely. And when you look at it, when McCarthy gets outside the pocket, they do a good job on the scramble drill. You'll see him directing it on the film as we go. And as you see this, McCarthy gets pressured. He gets outside the left end of the defense, loses them, and now McCarthy's out there where he can direct traffic. And last year he would have tucked this and run. This year he directs him, throws him downfield, and it turns into a big play for a touchdown. 91% completion rate outside the pocket is massive.
That's why you got to keep your lanes. You got to keep them inside the pocket. That's going to be very important in this game.
This guy is really clever, and he loves to play the game. Let's talk about the other things they do. They're going to give you 2 running backs. Donovan Edwards, when he's in the game, he is a threat as a receiver. So you got to make sure you match up with him. Here they get Purdue, Tom, with a linebacker out there that goes, you know.
What is he? What's the personnel group? Is it 21? Is it 11? What do you got here?
Yeah, you got 2 running backs, so you don't put in your nickel.
One that can play wide receiver.
Yep, and that becomes a problem. And watch, Purdue's trying to get lined up. They get a linebacker out there, and McCarthy recognizes it right away, throws him, puts him down inside the 5. A little better throw, it's probably a touchdown, but you know, let's not nitpick too much. Okay, let's talk about them defensively. Much like Penn State, top 5 in pretty much every category, top 10 in every category. And again, have not played a bunch of great teams, much like Penn State. The Big Ten is offensively challenged, as we would say. So those numbers are really good. Let's talk about some of the things to look at. In terms of no team has scored more than 1 TD against Michigan. Nobody has run a play inside the 10-yard line through 9 games. Red zone, Tom, 11 red zone trips, 1 touchdown, 4 field goals. That's incredible. And least penalized team in the country. But let's talk about how they get that done. They're going to push up front, Tom, downhill attack, read your blocks, and get the safeties involved.
Exactly. That's one of the things. They got safeties that can tackle. This is a football team that tackles very well, that you don't see very many missed tackles.
Yeah, and you see this right here. Here's a run by Purdue. That safety's down there making contact 2 yards deep, caused a fumble. We talked about turnover margin. Now let's talk about some of the things they do on 3rd downs. They're really good at pattern reading. This is going to be a challenge for Allard, starting in certain coverages and then chasing, getting very complex, some pro concepts here, Tom. Yeah. They're going to try and bait him into throwing that, and this guy makes a trap there.
There's been a lot of pro concepts. If they've been in position to play him this year because they've been so far ahead, they've been able to get exotic with their coverages.
Yeah, without a quarterback run game threat, they can do some of those things. Now, red zone, we talked about how phenomenal they've been in the red zone. Here's a 3rd down in the red zone. They're going to show you a blitz, change the coverage up on the quarterback. And again, Penn State's had success throwing the ball in the red zone, but this is a different animal in terms of
Well, they do a really good job, as we talked about. They're showing one thing, doing another thing. They're very comfortable doing that.
Yeah, and that's going to be the challenge Saturday afternoon is when you go from one coverage to another, do you, A, have time to see it, and B, know where to go with the ball? But one guy who always knows where to go is Todd Sadowski.
Did you say 9 games and no one's run a play inside the Michigan 10? That is unbelievable. All right, thanks, guys. Don't be distracted by the distractions off the field. The real story is what happens on the field in Happy Valley. Nittany Lions can make a huge jump into the national spotlight with a victory. As for the Wolverines, they're on a roll, undefeated, and ready for their toughest road test of the season in Beaver Stadium.
Our guys are, there's a bounce in the step. There's, you don't even really have to you don't even have to talk about it much. I mean, everybody's aware and just can't wait to play. Just looking for a time to play, a place to play, a team to play against.
Hard to believe a few years ago, rumors swirl that Michigan's looking to replace Harbaugh. Now they've ripped off 21 straight Big Ten Conference wins. Up next, our Impact interview. He joins us in Season 1. He joins us in Season 3. It's our own Urban Renewal with 3-time national championship coach Urban Meyer. He tells us what gives Nittany Lions fans hope this weekend and which should cause some concern. And make sure to keep sending us your pride pics. We have quite a collection on our website, NittanyGameWeek.com. You can add yours to our photo album online. We'll have more coming up later in the show. Nittany Game Week returns after this.